As we go through our presentation, we'll be talking through some things, but I want to set up some Zoom rules first. So as I mentioned, if you all can stay muted, there's a few dozen of you in this room right now, and some background noise is always a little bit of a distraction. I've got my dog here with me today, and sometimes he barks, so you might hear that. If you'd like to keep your video on, we really appreciate that to get to know your faces a little bit more and for you all to see a few of the other people who are interested in mechanical engineering today. As we go through, if you have questions, you can feel free to drop them into the chat and I will get to them as I can. Also, I'll give periodic times for you to unmute and ask questions if you have them. We're going to start with asking, what is mechanical engineering? So it'd be really interesting for me to hear from a few of you what you think of when you think of mechanical engineering. What are some professions that they do? What might you see on like TV shows? What are mechanical engineers? Feel free to put your answer in the chat or to unmute and speak up.
So are you asking like, what do they do?
Yeah, what is a mechanical engineer?
They build machines.
Yeah. If you were to give kind of a broad definition to mechanical engineering, what would you say it is? Thank you, Darcy. So machines is definitely part of it. Joseph said they build or dream up machines. Yeah, thanks, Joseph. They design machines and tools. Thank you, Weston.
Solving real-world problems with math and physics.
Yeah, math and physics is a big part of it. Thank you, Ken. That's the problem solving. Sorry, Darcy, go ahead.
It's okay. They like use technology to help them too.
Yep, so technology is a big part of engineering. Seth says problem solving. Leah says they design specific machines or tools to solve certain problems. Dallin says they create the uncreated and dream the undreamed to make a better world. I really like that. Lots of dreaming. Christian says a broad application of different engineering. Yeah, so when we think of mechanical engineering, we usually think of it as very broad and multiple applications for it. So let me go through kind of our definition. That this is on our website, what we hold. Mechanical engineering, or ME, is controlling the movement of matter and energy. If it rolls, flies, flows, or produces sound, a mechanical engineer has probably had a hand in designing it. So you all talked a lot about machines. We're also looking at, Joseph brought up aerospace and aerodynamics. We're looking at like speakers, musical speakers, usually mechanical engineers doing that, sometimes an acoustic engineer. Cars are a big thing that mechanical engineers do, and then lots of different machines, as well as like airflow. So a lot of the times mechanical engineers also work on HVAC systems. Pretty big recently with COVID, we want to make sure that a lot of our buildings' air supply is up to code. A lot of times mechanical engineers, sometimes chemical engineers are working on that. Okay. On Wikipedia, mechanical engineering is an engineering branch that combines engineering, physics, and mathematics. So Ken brought up physics and math, with material science to design, analyze, manufacture, and maintain mechanical systems. And then our third definition, this is from This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Mechanical engineers design power producing machines such as electric generators, internal combustion engines, and steam and gas turbines, as well as power using machines such as refrigeration and air conditioning systems. Mechanical engineers design other machines inside buildings such as elevators and escalators. It's kind of a more industrial definition. Wanted to bring up our advising staff here at the University of Utah in mechanical engineering. There are 3 undergraduate advisors, Katie Barnard, who works with students with last names A through C, Morgan Sipong Nam, who works with students with last names D through M, myself, and then Joy Velarde, who does our outreach and recruitment. Katie and Joy and I will be together from noon-ish to 1 today to answer other questions that you might have. Morgan's on vacation already, but that's kind of our team today. What we do, we work with you on degree planning is the big thing. There's a lot of classes that you need to take, lots of math and science, and you need to take some classes in a very particular order. So we're very helpful at helping you make your schedules. We have mandatory advising checkpoints. We call it our mandatory advising program, or MAP. Just to kind of check in with you, make sure that you've got your feet under you, talk through academic skills that you have, look at schedules, do some forecasting there. We also connect you to resources. So if you're looking for tutoring on campus or getting in contact with certain clubs, we know a lot about a lot of things, and we can try and help point you in the right direction. Like I said, we work with time management and study skills and exam preparation. It's a big skill that you need to have, especially in college. Some of you might be taking like AP Calculus right now, which is a great class. You're going to be learning in a year through AP what you'd be learning typically in a semester here at the U. So time management, study skills are really important to keep on track with the curriculum. We do a lot of brainstorming. So we work with you if you say, hey, I want to own my own business in blank. We can do a good job at connecting you to those resources and thinking about what are the steps to take to get you there. Also, if you have a problem, we can talk through and say like, oh, here's some things that other students have done before. Maybe you should try these out. We also do support outside of school, especially those last couple of semesters. We've done a really good job at talking with students about what else is going on outside of school, because we know that you don't have school, not the only thing going on, especially right now. So we talk and listen to you, get your feedback, and help connect you to faculty and make some changes there. For a lot of you coming in as first-year students, we have what we call a major admissions process. So steps to becoming a mechanical engineering major, we want you to be eligible to take Calculus 1 or higher. You can do that through an AccuPlace or placement exam, concurrent enrollment. So maybe you're taking courses through Salt Lake Community College or another college near your home. The ACT or SAT can test you into Calculus 1, or an AP score if you have Calc AB or BC. And then we want you to enroll in Mechanical Engineering 1000, which is our Intro to Design class. Once you have all of them, yeah, go ahead.
What does it take to skip calculus?
To skip calculus?
To skip calculus 1.
Mm-hmm. It would be an AP score or concurrent enrollment. So if you've taken Calculus 1 before, or if you've taken AP Calculus and score high enough on that exam.
So if you're fine taking calculus in college, is that fine too?
Yes. Yes, we need you to take that. Yeah. So there's lots of different paths that you are going to take based on what you've taken in high school or how far you are in math already. And you can start from anywhere and we'll get you there. We're just looking for you to be in Calculus 1 before you start taking mechanical engineering specific classes. Seth says, I'm currently taking Calculus 3 here at the U. What math classes would I need to take in the future? Seth, we'll look briefly at a flowchart in a bit. We'll also have plenty of time to talk to you about a specific plan for you. So for first year students, if you're not ready for Calculus 1, we want you to take the math prerequisites. Sometimes it's pre-calculus, sometimes that's algebra. And then we want you to keep your GPA above a 3.0, which is just a B average. We want you to remain with a pre-mechanical engineering as your declared major until you're ready for Calculus 1. That just helps us keep track of you a little bit better. We can kind of check in every now and again, check on your grades, do some touch points, that sort of thing. If you are a transfer student, the first thing that you need to do is be admitted to the U. So for a lot of you, that is the case already. And then we do an automatic review process if you mentioned mechanical engineering on your application. You should then receive an email notification from Dr. Deb Mascaro. She's going to allow all transfer students who have a 3.0 GPA in automatically. If you don't have a 3.0, we might have some more questions for you or a path to take some classes at the U without having full major status to show that you're ready for mechanical engineering. And then you would fill out our admissions acceptance form from Dr. Debbie Mascaro. This is our typical 4-year flow chart. So a lot of people think of college as being a 4-year plan. There are a lot of classes that you need to take for mechanical engineering. So we want to preface this with our average graduation rate is actually closer to 5.3 years. People do it faster, people do it slower. So it's based on what's best for you. But kind of looking at some of the classes that you'll be taking, Design 1 is our first class in mechanical engineering. You will need to take 1 class of chemistry. There's lots of math and science on here. And like Joy is saying, Seth, there's some more math after you take Calculus 3 down here. In here, we do have some classes on machine design and design of mechanical elements that a lot of you reference. We also have you take thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, and heat transfer. We call that our thermal fluid engineering. And so kind of thinking as engineering is a little bit more broad than just machines. It's also moving fluids through, and also leading into aerospace like Joseph asked about. These 2 flow charts, our 4-year and our 5-year, are posted on our website, so you can take a look at this. Also, once you are connected with an advisor, we will work on you on a graduation plan based on how many credits you want to take each semester, what classes you might have transferring in, that sort of thing. So you see the big difference here between the 4 and 5-year flow chart is the number of credit hours that you're taking each semester. On the 4-year plan, there were some semesters that you were taking 17 or 18 credits, which is doable, but it can be a lot. The University of Utah typically recommends a load of 12 to 15 credits each semester. So this 5-year plan shows that a little bit more, kind of a little bit more fleshed out. So you'll see here it's 12 to up to 14 credit hours each semester. These are not necessarily prescriptive plans. So you might be on a different plan based on if you want to take summer classes, or if you're available to take summer classes, or if you have any transfer credits before. We just want to offer these as 2 different options. Now we're going to get into what Joseph was asking about with our emphases, one of which is aerospace engineering. So we do not have an actual aerospace engineering major at the University of Utah. It's a fairly rare program to have because aerospace and mechanical engineering are so interrelated. Aerospace engineering is an emphasis that you can take, meaning that some of the courses that you'll take in your last couple of years in mechanical engineering, you take as technical electives, meaning you get to choose what classes you want to take. They're all focused at least tangentially to mechanical engineering. We offer some classes on aerospace, aerodynamics, aerospace propulsion, solid mechanics, talking about how to make things fly. So that would be how you get an aerospace kind of learning under your belt with a mechanical engineering degree. We have 13 total emphases. You can see them all listed out here, and basically that's just the electives that you're going to take in your last couple of years to focus and specialize in some of your knowledge. We're going to highlight one of our classes here, Mechanical Engineering 1000, that I've already talked a little bit about. Here you'll see students before COVID working together to build a water pump. So in that class, they're talking about design techniques, a little bit about fluid flow, and also do some 3D modeling and CAD design. The project at the end of the course is designing a water pump. And you'll see here they're pumping water out of that trash can into other buckets and testing the efficiency and efficacy of that pump. It's a really fun class and a really good way to get some hands-on experience pretty early in the curriculum. The second mechanical engineering class that you'll be taking is Mechanical Engineering 10, which is probably engineering systems. Especially recently, programming is becoming a really big part of mechanical engineering. So using it to solve big problems that are pretty complex, telling different mechanical components what you want them to do. Looking into robotics and mechatronics, those sorts of things. So here we have students who learned 3 programming languages, and then they're working on a ping pong robot. So what this is doing is it's firing a ping pong ball based on the inputs that they give it to kind of determine its velocity, its location, that sort of thing. Currently, because we're not meeting for this class in person, we have an app design, but we're hoping to offer this class again in person soon. Another class to highlight here is Mechatronics. This is usually taken in the junior year. And here we have a robot Ninja Warrior course. So the students are working with a robot, and then they have sort of an obstacle course that they need to send that robot through. So it's a little bit more complex robotics. This is working with both programming and mechanical systems to make the robot go through this course autonomously. Our last course here that we'll highlight is Mechanical Engineering 4000 and 4010. These are our senior design sequence courses. You'll see here students presenting their senior design projects they spent 2 semesters working on. We get to partner a lot with different industries in the area to give you design projects. So you'll see here some students working on skis, different systems that go into golf carts. We have some students who work on biomechanics projects, robotics projects, thermal engineering projects, those sorts of things. This is a really good way to kind of cap off your learning program, have a good project that's relatable experience for your job in the future. One of the other things that we think is really important to the student experience is student groups and research opportunities. It's a really good idea to get involved outside of the classroom to kind of enhance your learning. So here we have a few different student groups and research opportunities. We have a few clubs that are related to mechanical engineering and engineering as a whole, including the Society for Women Engineers, the National Society for Black Engineers. We have here a Formula SAE car, some different just kind of clubs that work around mechanical engineering and engineering in general. These are some of our big partners in hiring our students, and a lot of them are local to Utah. You'll see L3 Technologies, Boeing, Flash, BD, BioFire, Northrop Grumman, Autolive, and Bay Systems. We want to highlight that mechanical engineering is a really good degree to have for job prospects, and that we start a lot of our engineering students start with a salary of upwards of $66,000 a year, and then continue to grow from there. So that's their starting salary. About 90% of our graduates report having a job or accepted into a graduate program within 6 months of graduating from the University of Utah. About 70% of our students report participating in at least one internship during their time at the University of Utah Mechanical Engineering program. Things that we want you to think about as you're preparing to come to the U and preparing to start mechanical engineering. You are welcome to talk with any of our engineering advising team at any time. That's me, Joy, Morgan, and Katie. Talk about AP courses, ACT, SAT exam scores, what we're looking for calculus in particular. If you're at a school with an IB diploma program, we're happy to talk to you about that. Typically, that's taking care of a lot of gen eds, but we know that there are some subject area tests that take care of math and science. And then any concurrent enrollment. So maybe you're enrolled at a community college or university while you're taking other high school classes. Okay, I see that Joy is answering a lot of questions in chat, but in our last few minutes here, we can start talking through questions. We're also going to have time for questions from 12 to 1 in a separate Zoom room there. If you'd like to take a picture of that link, it should also be in your engineering day materials.
What is the requirement for SAT and ACT scores?
I'm trying to remember your ACT and SAT score will give you your math placement, so to speak. And off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what those are. Gotta exit this. It is posted on our website, and so if you want to give me a second, I can pull that up. Thanks, Darcy. Any other questions while I'm working on that?
So we are unable to take the SAT, ACTs over the past few months because of COVID reasons. How is that working with the whole applications regarding the engineering program?
Joy can probably answer this better than I can, and so if we can answer that later. We are allowing students to not take the SAT or ACT tests for placement to the University of Utah. As far as placement into the mechanical engineering program, we do recommend taking an AccuPlacer math test that can be administered remotely. That's so that we can determine where you are in your math sequence and help you get into the right math class for you. So for Darcy's question about the ACT or SAT, we're looking for a math ACT score of 28 or higher for Calculus 1, or a math SAT score of 650 or higher for Calculus 1. It's kind of a sliding scale from there based on what you score would determine your first math class. You can always override an SAT or ACT math placement score with an AccuPlacer. Nathan asked about changing majors. Changing majors is a pretty simple process, but not always as straightforward. Well, not always as easy said as done. So a lot of engineering majors do have a pre-engineering status, meaning that we want you to take a first couple classes in that major to get full major status. So if you put on your application that you wanted to do mechanical engineering, we'll be the first people to get in contact with you. If at any time you want to change your major or are interested in exploring a different major, you should be able to find a different advisor on the University of Utah website, say for business or humanities, chemistry, whatever that might be, and talk to them, and they can change you over into that major or the pre-major status for that major.
Can you take a minor in mechanical engineering?
We do not offer a minor in mechanical engineering. The only engineering degree that we do offer a minor in is biomedical engineering.
Thanks.
Do most people take calculus in college as their first math class?
A lot of our mechanical engineering students do. Some other majors in like history or business do not require calculus, so it just depends on your major.
Okay.
If you don't take calculus in your first semester, we also don't want you to feel like you're behind by any means. So it's pretty normal to start with calculus. It's also normal to start with pre-calculus or college algebra. Okay, we're getting close to the end of our time together. If you do have other questions, we're happy to take them this afternoon. If you want to stick around and listen to other people's questions, you're welcome to. Other than that, that is the end of our time, and you can head on over. There's a 10-minute break before your next session. Raiden asked, if you take calculus in high school, would you have to retake it? That depends on how you took calculus in high school. If you took AP calculus, we need to have an AP calculus. We need to have an AP score for you, and we're looking for anywhere from a 3 to 5 based on the credit that you're trying to get. So it is We do have some students who will take AP Calculus and then not take the test. We cannot give them credit for that, so they do need to take Calculus again. Luke Zhang asked what scholarships are available to help with my degree. There's a great website that all students have access to, academicworks.utah.edu, where you can kind of, it's a database for scholarships. We have a few departmental and college level scholarships. The best way to start that process is through the FAFSA, which is the Federal Application for Financial Student Aid. What classes do you take freshman year in college, says Braden. That really depends on your major. For us, we're looking for you, and that'll depend on your math placement. So for a lot of times, if you're ready for Calculus 1, that'll be calculus, chemistry, mechanical engineering, and then an optional general education class in your first semester. Enjoy link the flowchart there.
I see on the flowcharts there's an engineering calculus flowchart and a regular calculus flowchart. What is the difference and what should we take?
Yeah, that's a good question. Both forms of calculus are going to get you where you need to be for your degree. The traditional calculus path is the same calculus that's offered at almost any university in the country and is applicable across different majors. Engineering calculus is specific to the University of Utah, and it's going to be less theory-based and more practice-based because you don't need to know as much why math works as much how to use math. So all things being equal, we usually recommend the engineering calculus pathway, but if you have some AP credit or whatever that might be to cover some of the traditional calculus, we might have you start on the traditional math path and finish it there. It's kind of an individual decision that we would talk more about through orientation. Good question, Ken.
Thank you.
All right, that is the end of our time. We want to make sure that you all get to your next session and so we can start preparing for our next session. So if you all want to head out and then you can join us again at noon if you have other questions about mechanical engineering.
Thank you.
Thanks, Seth. Thank you, Joy, for doing chat.
A lot of questions. I was like, I guess we're trying to keep up.
Yeah, a lot of very specific questions. So I wonder if I should have clarified that more.
Yeah, so maybe I'll do that for Katie too. I
never showed up.
I texted Katie and I was like, just FYI, Benjamin had the presentation and I had to make him co-host. I'll have to make you co-host. And she was like, do you think he thought it was next week? And I was like, I thought it was pretty clear, like, see you Saturday. And she's an ambassador, don't they talk about engineering day all the time? And I was like, yeah. I texted him through ConXEd because I don't have his number, but that will look him up and send it to their number on file. And I was like, I can't receive replies, but we had to start without you. Are you going to jump on? Like, please just join as soon as you can. And I was like, or my number is 801, whatever. And he hasn't texted or replied. And I emailed him. So he's either sleeping or totally flaked or thought it was next week or I don't really know. College students, sometimes they don't put their alarm or they sleep through their alarm. So like, that's what I'm guessing, but, oh, I should stop recording.